March 18th, 2024. We have a quorum present, so we'll do business and we'll begin the meeting with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do one of you have the clerk's report? Okay. So we have the monthly report from the clerk of circuit court and the county treasurer's monthly report. Just for the record, all three commissioners have reviewed those. We'll turn those in. We have the meeting minutes from the previous meeting from March 4th. Any additions, changes, subtractions? I'll move we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. With the claims against the county, the voucher register, any changes there?
None.
I move we approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And then we have the payroll. Any changes or concerns there?
None.
I move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Highway reports?
So,
We have a report for Steve.
it's part of this, it's real quick, because I knew there's one thing he wanted to bring up, but I don't know what all he had planned.
Thank you, sir.
So, short and quick here today, Safe Streets for All action plan. So steering committee has been formed. I gave you the list of people that you guys are, you guys know who's on the thing. Reese is going to represent the commissioners. We have I think a wide range of people. We've got a local consultant, we've got our EMA, we have 2 representatives from school corporations, we have a person from the general public, 2 fire chiefs, a county council member, and then we have somebody from the sheriff's department that's also a school resource officer. So I think I got a wide range of people. Most of the counties represented well as far as a broad perspective, so feel good about that. Public involvement survey, that was the other document I gave you. So Structure Point needs to give out a public involvement survey. It's a very simple survey. They're going to put it out online, but they are also going to present it at a public function within the county. We thought about either the downtown Chowdown or the Friday at 5 at Honeyberg, something where the public generally comes in, they're going to set up a booth or a small table, and maybe we'll get people to buy in while they're out and about. Because if we just put this on the website or on Facebook, we may get a couple people to show up there to fill it out. But if we got it there where they can spend 3 minutes filling it out, we'll get a little bit more. So they've had a lot of success doing that. I'm on board with it. I think it sounds like a great idea. But with that comes most of our outdoor events don't start for another month. That puts the project back to get all the involvement surveys compounded and everything, all the data brought together. So we're going to push the drop dead date, get the draft and everything turned in back about a month, if not 2 months. Federal Highway is okay with it. It's perfectly acceptable for them. They said it didn't bother them whatsoever. I guess I don't know. I probably need a formal motion to, hey, we're good to extend this 2 months and we're good to go. Because we did sign a contract with them, we'll have it done by a certain amount to amend it.
We will be within the contract time?
We'll be within Federal Highway's contract time, but not our local consulting contract time.
And what does that mean for us? Does it mean any added expense? Does it mean anything? It's just.
Gives them more time to get the data put together.
And you said this will be able to be filled out online as well as these in person?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna have a QRX code there, or QR code. They're gonna have a spot where you go on Facebook or ask if we can put it on our site, get a way you can put it, but then where people can fill it out, so.
Yeah, hopefully we get some good feedback, because more eyes on that feedback.
Correct.
Anybody on the board have any problem with doing things the way Mr. Winholt has mentioned? A lot of stuff, so we can have it formally in the minutes here. I'll move that we go along with the timeline Mr. Winholt has presented, and that the contract timeline will be extended by a month or no longer than 2.
No one to.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, this other one, Tim Lynch, has got paint quotes from different suppliers throughout the area. There are here is listed, Enos Flint at $32,941.15, Sherwin-Williams at $32,230 even. Jasper Industrial Supply was at $38,643.75, and then UB Clem, which is $36,401.50. As you can tell, Sherwin-Williams is low, but Tim has had a lot of problems with Sherwin-Williams paint. It clogs the tips. They end up spending more time blowing the tips out to get it clean. We've bought Enos Flint the past 2 years, Sherwin-Williams the past couple of years before that. Enos Flint paint we've had no issues with. Comes out smooth, everything's good. So as you can tell, it is more expensive. It's not the low bid, but Tim is requesting that we go with Enos Flint just for the fact that it's easier to work with, and we actually waste less paint because of less clogging.
Any issues?
You have to state that with Sherwin-Williams paint, the bid is not necessarily a responsible bid because of the product that you receive. In order to accept you have to accept the lowest responsible and responsive bid, which would be Sherwin-Williams, unless you deem them to not be one of those two things.
And if they were a product that we didn't like, why did we get a quote from them?
But Tim was informed of this today.
Because you only need 3, right?
Correct. He was informed today.
What's the board have a feeling on it? I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but
I
get that.
I get it both ways. I do. I don't deal with paint enough, so I can't really sit there and sell it one way or the other. I do know that he does waste a lot of paint. When those paints clog, it takes a lot to pull those things out. So
I don't want to go against the guy that's out there doing it, using the product and having the problem. But that being said, do we tell Sherwin-Williams we've had these issues before, if we waste $100 worth of paint, they replace the paint? I don't know. Anybody have a thought? Commissioner Hostetter?
Yeah, I don't know really how to handle that. I feel like I want to go with the Enos Flint, because of those issues. I just want to make sure that we are doing it legally.
The safest thing is to accept the Sherwin-Williams.
Commissioner Stevenage?
Or, well, like the guys going out there and having nothing but problems, how long have we had the Sherwin-Williams paint? I mean, how long?
it's probably been 2 years since we've used, 3 years since we've utilized them. Enos Flint was low, I know 2 years ago, and I thought Industrial Supply was last year, but maybe it might be Enos Flint. I know we had. It's been a minute since we've used Sherwin-Williams paint.
I'd say we should just go Sherwin-Williams a little bit. Keeps out trouble.
Can you do something to say if we have issues, we need to correct it in some way, like you're saying?
Yeah, but I think that's the direction I'm leaning. I don't like it, but that's probably the best way to course of action. Take the Sherwin-Williams bid, hold them accountable, and if the product or the service doesn't stand up this time, then we don't ask them for a quote in the future. Anybody okay with that?
I think that's fair.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we accept the low bid from Sherwin-Williams.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
It'll work. We got glass beads from a different supplier, but that was for $7,000. You guys don't care about that.
Nope. Is that all?
That is all I got, unless you guys got something for me. I know that Austin House email, we'll talk about that later. I need to read it, we can discuss it there, so I didn't get a chance to get back
So
to that.
that piece of property, just so if you have to review anything, looks like it's been chopped up over time, like 7 times maybe?
Probably.
And is that and if that's gonna be an issue? maybe
It's
consider-
outside our subdivision, so we usually got 10 acres, so can't say much either way, and, yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that at 9:35.
Okay, you got anything else, though?
I don't think so. I'm gonna hand this out, I asked Mr. Schneider about this, and he printed these for us. This is a House of Roll Act number 1158. It's gonna have to deal with something we'll have to pay attention to for county contracts moving forward. So, might be a good idea for us all to review those, see what the final language is. You ready to do some surplus items? Okay, we have some surplus items. The first ones are from 911. They offered up a number of these items to the other offices in the courthouse. I believe a few of them were taken. Do we know, is there an updated list, or is this?
That's what I did. Got some cabinets were taken, but then Scott put them on his, to get rid of his, they're bad.
Okay, so one part here, there's a number of items that he's proposing that we turn over to Perry County EMA. These are dispatch workstation furniture. It's 22 years old. He says it doesn't hold any value for us. The Perry County EMA is the only one that's interested if it's free and they think they can put it to use. Does anybody have an issue with giving them 3 positions, 3 computer monitor stands, task lights mounted to the workstation, monitor arms, and a Bush corner desk?
Fine with me.
We have, with our new facility, we have everything that we need without these items.
Okay.
Good with those? And then he has a number of some lateral files and a freezer. He has just a number of items. These have all been emailed to us. We could review them. I don't see anything within the list that we should, but I think we need to hold on to. Does anybody feel differently?
Great, whatever they can do with them.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion then that we give the items that I mentioned earlier to the Perry County EMA, and that the remaining items be declared surplus and to be disposed of by the 911. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And then does the custodian have some miscellaneous items
Well,
to
he just
dispose
had,
of?
I thought I had it on here, he had a cabinet that he took from this guy. That's talking, from what I understand, and he has some cabinets that were bad, like 2 big metal cabinet storage. That's it.
That's fine, we can wait on that, it's probably not gonna be a big deal. Okay. Wanted to just
Send it all to you, maybe?
for public notice, the Veteran Service Office, Ralph and Susan are gonna be out of the office on March 19th for quarterly training in Washington County. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Also, Ralph Hughes has been a big asset to the office. I stopped in and probably a year ago, she would have a stack of work, maybe a foot deep, or 10 inches, and they've got it down to about 3 folders now. And they've just really accelerated what they're doing in there. So I think we have a lot of good things coming. So if you want to stop by and talk to Ralph or Susan, they'd probably like that. I sent a letter of support for Du Bois County Community Corrections. It goes with their grants that they do every year. Anybody have any problem with me providing that?
Nope.
There's a ribbon cutting for Life Springs Hope Center. It's Wednesday, April 3rd at 2 p.m. That is it's going to be more residential treatment next to Life Springs in Jasper. And if you were unable to make it to either of the open houses they had, it is a pretty neat facility. I think they're going to do a lot of good things out there. April 3rd, I have a medical procedure, so I won't be available. But if either of you want to go out and represent the county, they'd probably appreciate that. This is something that was part of some of the studying we've been doing with other local units and with community solutions. So it's kind of going to be a nice thing to happen. So April 3rd, 2 p.m. Another miscellaneous item that we're behind on is the creation of the deputy social worker position. Remember, we talked about that, I believe, in like October, and we said we'll revisit it in November, I think, to create that position. I don't think we ever formally created it. Sandy was nice enough to look through the minutes, and it doesn't look like it was created, but all of the action to implement it has been put in. So I don't remember, should we create that position as a temporary? I don't remember what the.
I would create it in this grant, Justice and Mental Health grant. Because the grant is for a 3-year term.
But now that I'm saying this out loud, I thought there was something about we don't want to create it.
Well, the grant's been approved. We didn't want to create it and fund it and then have the grant come do it. That's the plan. Where now the grant is here and ready, as soon as they get their planning stage done, it's ready to start. So we can't start it in this grant without it.
Okay, that makes sense. I just wasn't
And we
clear.
didn't want to fund it a different way.
So I just wanted to make a motion that we go ahead and create that position, make it, put it in the minutes, make it a formal move. We create the deputy social worker position for the Du Bois County Sheriff's Department.
I would second.
Is there any other discussion on that?
The wage classification would be MPOL 2. The grant is a 3-year grant from last October, which it's not starting this position until it's a 2-year for this position, I think.
And do we want to create it as a temporary position, or do we just want to create it? I think it's a position that seemed like at least the majority of the board was behind creating it as a permanent position. Ultimately, if we do that, if that's the feeling of this board, which I thought it was, the council could always, I guess, not fund it if they don't want to continue the position on after the grant funding is gone. But as far as we're concerned, our wish is to, or I believe the majority of the board's wish was to create it permanently. Okay, so so we have a motion to create the position, so we don't need to do anything additional to it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Regional Sewer District Board appointments. I believe tonight the county council is making their appointments. And where are we on the commissioner?
Still got the feelers out. I think we have some possibilities. Do not have any to appoint this morning. So hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll have somebody who's ready to do that.
So Can you remind the board what districts these folks have to be from, or what background they have to be appointed?
Is that what you got right there?
Looks like we have to have a commissioner, so that'll be you, is that correct?
If you know, yes.
And then a southeast Boys County School District person, and a regular Jasper School District person.
Right, both of those will have to live outside of the, urban sewer district and the Jasper sewer district, is that correct?
Existing service areas in those districts, yes.
Quick question.
So for Jasper, how would that work? Who would that be?
So Ireland, somebody in,
Madison.
And then just cut a short ditch north and it all.
Do they have to be on the septic?
Part of Hooter.
is it okay if they're in the conservancy district? That came up.
If you can visualize.
Ireland conservancy
I know what you're
district.
talking.
Just take it.
Should they already bear one?
It's like it
I
always
don't think
does.
so, 'cause
They don't actually treat anything, so it's not like, it's not the same as.
He gave me the same thing that I looked at.
Along that power line on Bill's property.
Okay.
I mean, it's
And you had mentioned
a no-brainer. I mean, it's not gonna be much.
part of Hooterville got on the city, did they not?
As long as the utilities are low.
Yes, they did. I thought there was an annexation a few years ago.
What about, College View University?
Yeah.
Michelle,
This weekend.
service.
I think they're all service.
They're all service at this point.
But then you can
Where's
get
Jasper School District, right?
driveway pipe out.
The Jasper Boys Road,
Line right there.
kind of, out there, Celestine.
Is it still 400 north?
Like it always did.
And that's fine.
Back in the day,
400 North isn't in the Jasper School District.
Yes.
except where they annex, probably.
Right.
Sorry.
Boone is in Jasper.
When I talk about annexing, I'm referring to not necessarily the annexation for a school district. I'm talking about the city annexed in because they put in that.
No, it's not.
Right.
But Hooterville area, I believe, got some sewer
That's
system
fine.
put in.
That's fine.
And I know that there was talk at one point like A
You
Street,
can see it, but.
that got annexed in as well. I think for sewer service.
And it's right in there, just.
So,
Did you have it there?
so while they were once serviced either privately
That's fine.
or by someone else,
If he wants to,
they're not, they're now part of the city system.
that's fine.
Yes. Who resides within the limits of the Greater Jasper School Board Public School District and outside the limits of any other existing sanitary sewer district.
So they have to be on section or be uninsured at all.
So that would, anybody on the conservancy district,
Drain out there.
that would
Okay.
include them.
To me, that sounds like Boone
Boone and Madison.
and Bainbridge on the way end over there,
Right.
maybe.
Street ran, very broad.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
You said Boone and Madison?
Yes.
So that's fine.
Bainbridge, Boone, and Madison are your Jasper School.
There's really no hardly anywhere it comes west, so it'd be fine.
Would Elmer be-
Better.
He'd be served probably because he lives in the neighborhood. Do you think
I don't think
I
I
don't
would
know
have
that they have it up there.
Been stubbing my woods down there on
maybe you'll ask,
15
Yeah.
west.
or at least you'd say, hey, what about neighbors?
Not right.
Right, somebody who lives nearby.
That's kind of what I've been doing.
So there was a good call, I don't know if you saw that down there.
I want to make sure I get a good appointment too, because it is the many boards that are gonna have,
North.
you know,
I'll take that back.
a decent amount of work to get started.
So it pretty much looks like they cannot be on the sewers.
So no conservancy district.
I'll look at the bylaws that's in it.
We're looking for what?
The bylaws that
Oh, no.
Southeast.
Just somebody in this?
Well,
So a rural
they just
person.
sent it here.
Right. I had a guy over
So
there.
forward it. It's the same thing we had.
Somebody suggested that.
I'll send it to you.
So,
Well, and move it on.
And when do we need these? As soon as possible?
yeah, I was hoping to have it today.
It's gonna
It'll
help.
take a little longer than
Okay, well, we'll keep on that.
that. And I'm happy if you guys have any.
You're thinking what you're discussing.
In southeast school district, someone that's on a septic system, Greater Jasper School District, that's on a septic system. That's the short version of it.
So eventually those bylaws have to be amended.
We would hope so, right? We would hope we would create service and they would be ineligible.
Well, I think they have to recycle in the regional sewer district, which will end up.
That one, that one.
Once they're all on board, they're served by
Okay.
us.
So,
I don't think they would go off, they can stay. It's served by the board still.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and, we'll move up a little bit here. Jenny Modice is here to talk about the health owner occupied rehabilitation inspection service proposals. We probably can't open those till 9 o'clock.
Correct.
But I can give you a rundown.
You can, yeah, we can do an update.
it's mainly that.
I can get your email last episode.
You know where you're at.
So we were out of town early in the week when I sent that, and then when I got back, I just, well.
It's fine. Jenny Modice, Indiana 15 Regional Planning Commission. About a month ago, I was here. We just kind of started the process of getting information out about the owner occupied rehab program.
Hey Jenny, can you hold on for a second? Hey Brent, can you guys, Brent, when you guys go in the hall or something, I'm having a hard time focusing. Thank you. Go ahead.
It's always Brent.
I know.
Since then, we have sent out approximately 220 applications. As of Thursday morning, I have received 56 completed applications back.
And for you sending out 220, that means 220 were passable.
Yes,
Right.
220 people have contacted me and said, I want an application. I send out at least one every day. I had to leave this morning to come up here and I've got 3 in my inbox now of people still, is it too late? Yeah, I have 56 completed. I get one in the mail every day.
And for the record, again, how much money do we have for the whole of this project?
700,000. I do have a little breakdown because I know you guys like numbers. You're a numbers guy. I broke them down by town. We've received 2 that have a Bird's Eye address, 1 with a Dale address. They live right on the county line, that do have a Dale address. 2 from DuBois, 9 from Verdon, 2 from Holland, 9 from Huntingburg, and 31 from Jasper. And these were numbers I thought were kind of interesting just because I would like just to see average home size, or average home occupancy, how many people are living in your home, is something I thought might be a little higher, running at 3, a 3-person home.
So you said, can you do the numbers one more time? I think somebody was trying to write them down too. So we had 2 Bird's Eye, 1 Dale, 2 DuBois, 4 Ferdinand, 9.
No, 9 Ferdinand.
9 for me.
9
Yep.
Ferdinand.
I can email these to you too.
I mean, from
2 Holland, 9 Huntingburg, and 31 Jasper.
And do you have the average request?
I have there are 37 that their first priority was a roof. 11, their first priority was HVAC. 1, electrical upgrades. 3, water heaters. And 1 was ADA accessibility. Some folks did, break it down a little further if they can get this and then this or this. When it breaks down a little further, their second request, 3 roofs, 14 HVACs, 11 electrical upgrades, 7 water heaters, and 2 ADA accessibility. And I know the DuBois County Housing Study kind of came out January, I think is when it was made available. And this kind of backs up some of the things that they've had in there. The average age of the home that has been requested is a home built in 1955. So we've got some older homes. We have a lot of single person households. And I haven't run the numbers on age, but it is a lot of older people that have reached out. I have a lot of folks that are Social Security dependent and have, they can't stretch that dollar any further. And they want to stay in their homes. There's a lot more aging in place.
and they are wanting to stay there if possible, and that, you know, they may just need that roof, they may need that HVAC system to stay in there, but they're making do with what they have. So, but yes, we have, we've had a great response on this. It has been almost overwhelming, and it's been great to talk to people. And I know folks are really excited to get going. A little nervous on getting an inspector, but we did, I do believe we did come through with one on Friday.
Yeah, so it is it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I was trying to stall, I'm trying
No,
to get out here.
it's awesome. And
I will email you guys those
the-
numbers,
the
just in case you have
email
questions on
I
it.
do have one question.
Yes.
Can you, like I hand a address to you
Yeah.
and you contact? Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
It's good to know. I know we discussed that
Okay, thank
before.
you.
but I just wanted to-
Yeah.
You would
Um,
reach out to them.
We have a lot of people that have brought them in for family members,
Right.
that they're trying to help them out.
Before.
Yeah,
Okay.
But you will need some proactive action from the resident, because they want to
Yes.
provide you with things, and we'll have to,
we
you will
have,
help them with an application, but you can't do.
all the
it.
applications are, I mean, the ones that we've gotten so far, we have 56 complete. They've turned in all of their, you know, pay stubs, any kind of, like your letter that you get from from Social Security that states this is your benefits. They've turned in their homeowner's insurance, the copy of their declarations. I mean,
Wow.
people have really been really proactive about it. We sent those out on a Tuesday. They went out on a Tuesday afternoon, applications. We got the go-ahead from the state to send them out. We had someone waiting at our office at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning with a complete application, ready to turn it in. He had worked all evening to get it ready.
Wow.
Yeah, I unfortunately had 2 6 kids the first day that those could come in, and everybody in the office was like, oh my gosh, this is what you've been dealing with, so. Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, already we would be $1.5 million
Yes.
short of
Yes.
supplying these people.
Yes, so there is no shortage of want, for this in the county. I do have a list of things compiled to go over, so we need to pull assessor's cards, we need to pull tax statements and everything. So once I'm done here today, I'm gonna take a little trip over and to the courthouse and get those, turn those into the offices there so that they can start pulling those things. And then I'm also gonna brief the mayor after this as well.
Great.
What time are you meeting with them?
I'm just gonna see if he's available.
Okay. Because I was thinking too, with that email, we probably still need to meet again.
Yeah.
Because we'll have to, not everybody's gonna get selected.
Yep.
We're gonna have to check that. We're gonna have to verify what we want the inspector to do. I mean, with those items. So if you do catch up with him, with the mayor, then we should
We'll
probably,
make a date.
yeah, if you could. I'll do my best to be available.
That's fine.
Yeah, we wanna serve as many people as possible. All right, Mr. Schneider, do we have some?
We have one response to the request. It is from Eric Curtis of Jasper, Indiana. He is an Indiana licensed home inspector. He has provided his qualifications and experience. He has a cost per unit in Dubois County, itemized out, but total per unit would be $700 per unit. And anything above the itemized would be at a rate of $50 per hour.
How many per hour?
$50 per hour.
So it's 700 a unit.
Yes. So the breakdown of that is the initial detailed property inspection with scope of work, $370. A rehab spec sheet for bid documents, $60, and the final inspection of $270, which totals $700.
Okay, so we'll, do you want us to accept this today? Do you want to take time to
Take
review
it
it?
under advisement.
That sounds good. That's what I was hoping you'd say. So we'll take the bid under advisement, and at our next meeting, we can select that person, or not.
I will note that Mr. Curtis has worked with SIDC, our counterpart in the Martin, Davies, Knox areas, and has done owner occupied rehab very extensively with Jenny Jane Wester with their organization. So he is very well versed in OOR and the regulations from both the Housing and Community Development Authority and OCRA. So we will take that under advisement and we'll move from there.
What was his first name?
Eric?
ERIC, Curtis with a C.
That looks good, I think, yeah, we'll just get together this week and, or
Sounds
we'll talk sometime. Does anybody from the board have any comments or questions?
Sounds great.
So
We'll do it next meeting.
Yes. Good set of time?
time do you have available, ma'am? Good to see you on the cold yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a little cold.
Next meeting's April 1st, so if you want to do 8:30, you want 9 o'clock? what do you
9
want?
o'clock would be fantastic.
9?
Same. Thank you all for your support on this. It's been great and I can't wait to see this get going, so.
It'll be life changing for some people. So we can have 2 things.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because the Kent Site Spirit Road.
The letter stated 9
Hers
o'clock.
hers was at 9 because it had to be, and then he sent a letter to Kent Sites
Stating.
stating to come at 9, but that was not advertised. That's why we had them both at 9.
So we would go into session for,
Yes.
yeah, so we're gonna take a break from the regular commissioners meeting, come into session as the DuBois County Trash Board. So the issue today is for Mr. Kent Sites of Andrew Lane. We had an ordinance violation complaint back in, it's been a while. So let's just say that we've had a hearing July 17th of 2023. We had a couple updated meetings since then due to some code violations. What we found last year was what we ruled is we had Mr. Sites was to remove immediately the white van and all vehicles, trailers, boats that were not up to date on licensing. There was 60 days to bring the property into compliance with the code, removing items from the back of the building or build a privacy fence to hide those items, and to remove from view all vehicles, trailers, boats that are not up to date on licensing or to get them licensed. And all items that were to be for sale needed to be easily accessible to a potential buyer. Any items that were haphazardly stacked on top of each other would be considered junk and must be removed. We had a status review hearing on October 2nd and a second one on November 20th. And after considering the information presented that day, we determined that substantial steps had been made to remedy the concerns of the property, but we saw that there was still progress that needed to be made. Some of that progress was to put secure fencing on the property. That was bullet point 1. Number 2 was to install fencing or permanent cover of the carports and lean-to, including a proposed garage door or fence gate we had discussed. And all items for sale needed to be easily accessible to a potential buyer. Any items haphazardly stacked would be considered junk and need to be removed from view. So I believe the 3 of us have had an opportunity to review photographs of the building from maybe from a week ago, and then some that were taken. When were those most recent ones taken? Yesterday. So we have a pretty decent idea of what the current status of the building is. Do we want to hear from, let's hear from Mr. Bain if there's anything, do you have anything to add from the ordinance enforcement section?
I reviewed the property a week ago on Sunday. I have the calendar in front of me. It was a week ago on Sunday. Mr. Sykes sent me some photos late last night, and I forwarded them to the commissioners and to the commissioner. So that's the latest information that I have. There was improvement from a week ago on Sunday to this past Sunday. There were some changes that were made, primarily in the front section of the 16-foot wide door encasement area that was covered on the photos from Sunday, this past Sunday. And then he has a smaller storage building that he did put some doors on. Again, those are your photos.
Okay, thank you. So let's just look at the bullet points one at a time. Number one, secure fencing located on the property. So I believe that by that we meant the property that ran on the Wuppenheimer side of the building and it was visible from the street. How does the board feel that item was remedied? To my take, it looks like it's been completed and it's been standing, doing what it was intended to do. Commissioner Hofstadter?
I would agree. It's probably not exactly how I'd like it to be done, but it is done, and I believe it's satisfactory. Just off the board.
So the second bullet point, but let's just continue with the first one, Commissioner.
I drove by there several times and I see that he's made an effort to secure that. I would like to see it a lot more secure. He's got, I don't know if it's 2x4s or something propped up against the fencing. I didn't walk up there to see, but I would like to see that secured a lot better than that.
Okay,
I appreciate the effort, but I think it needs to be better.
and the next one was install fencing or permanent cover of the carports and lean-to, including your proposed garage door and or fenced gate. So I believe the roof of the building is done, it looks fine, the lean-to, that roofing looks fine, it looks like it's structurally sound, looks fine. The most recent photos we've had, there's a tarp. Is that correct? It looks like a blue tarp with maybe some stability added to the back of it. And then next to that is some sheet metal that has been posted in front of that other building. Does that sound accurate?
Yes.
To me, from the photograph of the one with the metal door, it looks like it closes it off from view, which I think is fine. The problem with it is if it's supposed to be for, I don't know. Mr. Seitz, can you go in and out of that door?
Yeah, it's on hinges.
So it slides left and right, or?
It opens up and it's on hinges.
Okay, and so with that one, I would say that it looks like a permanent structure to me. I don't know that I would have an issue with that one, but the one with the tarp is a non-permanent structure, so that wouldn't meet the ordinance.
It says that those are which are screened by natural objects, planting fencings or other appropriate means so as not to be visible. That's what the ordinance says.
So the request to bring it into compliance was install fencing or permanent cover.
Okay, yes.
And so do you think that is outside of how it's written? In other words, the blue tarp with wooden structure
I
behind
guess
it.
whether that's deemed permanent would be subjective,
Okay,
or it is covered. That was the part I was thinking.
right. So what do y'all think on that?
Can I say something?
Certainly, please do.
It's, I was really working hard to try to get all this done for you guys. And I just didn't get the front, garage door up in the front yet. So put that tarp on there just to cover it up, so you can see what it's gonna look like when the garage door is done. I just didn't get that door up there yet, and this tarp's gonna stay there until I get that. I can put the door in inside. It's gonna stay there until the door's done. I'll take the tarp away and then the door will be there. I just didn't have enough time to get it out yet that time.
So I think you've had roughly 100 days to do that, and you didn't even put this up until the last week though, is that right?
Well, I'm working 6 days a week at the gas station. The weather was cold, you know, below freezing, like 20 days in January and February. I'm back here, I was back here last night till almost midnight. You know, and as far as the wood propped against the fence, the only place that has anything propped against, there's a big door in front of that red truck up to the first carport. That's a big door, like 18 feet wide door, so I can get in and out to my dock. And I can't put nothing permanent on that door because I have to move. It's on. I open it up and close it when I get in and out. There's no other post leaning no place else, just where that one big door is. I don't know how else to secure it, you know, without trying to prop it, you know, so the wind don't, because, you know, I can't put nothing permanent in the middle. You know, I guess I could drive a pipe in the ground, and I can do that, put a pipe in the ground and put something up, you know, to hold it so it doesn't move. I could do that. But I have to have something where I can get in and out, you know, to my dock, you know. Like I say, I could do that. I could drive a piece of pipe in the ground, and then I could put a piece of steel pipe, a steel fence post on top of that. You know, it would be a steel fence post look better than a piece of wood or something.
Commissioner, do you have a photograph of the thing that's concerning
I
you?
do, I guess,
And
I
is that
don't
what
know.
You're talking about on the east side of the fence, right? Is that what
Yes,
you're talking about?
the east side of the property.
Yes.
So you're looking at your little shed, your little carport, and then all along there, all the way
Well,
back
it's
to
not-
where the red pickup truck is sitting.
There's not none there anymore because I put two permanent, I took a eye bolt, all thread, and I drilled it through the frame of the carports, and I put some 2x4 pieces there to hold the tin and stuff to the building. So there's nothing there anymore. There's no, you know, did you have that picture that shows
Did you
that?
take the tin down along with the 2x4s?
No, the tin's there because I don't know where else to put it. I'll use it up, and you know, eventually, because I got some other stuff I want to cover up and everything. And like I
Okay, did you
said,
take it down over the weekend? These
No.
were taken on Friday,
Can you show him what you're talking about?
Yes,
Maybe
I
you're
can.
both talking about different
two
areas.
different things maybe.
Yeah, like I say, the board is there is not there anymore. The tin is still there. But I sent you some pictures last night that had, there's 2x4 holding that tin there so it can't move. If you want, I can show you a picture of my phone. if you want me
No,
to.
I think we've gotten those.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that wood's not there anymore.
Okay, I mean, is this what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Picture all three?
yeah.
You guys see these all three? The board, that's a big long piece, these are 18 to 20 foot
They're
long
like
pieces.
30 feet long.
30 foot long, they're on like,
Carport.
this is,
so this is what I was saying.
yes.
Okay.
Secured housing of the board.
Okay, so that's what that belongs to. Okay. Okay.
Back to that.
Are you satisfied with that? Or do you, I guess satisfied might be not the right term. Do you believe it meets the minimum standard of the code?
No. I just don't know how secure, how long that's gonna stay, I guess is my question. I see that it's secured by the photos that he's showing me, but if that's gonna be a good enough fix to hold it.
Half-inch rebar, it's gonna take a lot to move that. I mean, half-inch all through it. I could put it, move it inside if I have to. That's a nice place to put it there. There's nothing on the wall there. Doesn't interfere with anything, but if I have to, I can move it inside. And the tavern's got new owners now. My nephew owns it. So that, it's got new owners now. So everything's gonna be a new start for both of us. So.
For the board, do we believe that bullet point 3, all items that are for sale, are you comfortable with that they aren't haphazardly placed, they're not stacked, they would be easily accessible for someone that would want to be a potential buyer? I would say that the items in front of the building appear to be, meet that minimum standard,
I'd say the items in front do meet that standard.
that the ones on the side are hidden.
Yes.
I've got a lot of comments from neighbors and people driving past, they say it looks a lot better.
I think
It
it's
does
been
look better.
in progress over the last 16 months or so, I think. So let's just each of us go through and just say how we feel about these, and we'll take action from there. As far as secure fencing on the property, I'm satisfied that that's complete. The items being easily accessible to a potential buyer, I would say those items are complete. The only item that I feel like isn't complete is the permanent cover of the carports and lean-to that we requested before. The truck that's on the property is licensed.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it in advance of just a few months.
Okay. And I think in one of the pictures too, there was a skid loader.
But that's in my nephew's working on this, where he was working on the tavern.
Okay. So I would say my only ongoing concern is the permanent cover for that one door, the one that has the tarp on it. Mr. Hofstadter?
I agree that is the one thing that doesn't meet the minimum standard, but I suggest you aim a little higher than the minimum standard.
Yeah.
Just for your neighbor's concern and the other people of Hayesville. Just like to see it clean, neat, and tidy, and a little
There
more
was-
permanent on the fixes.
There was 2 or 4s, the front of the building, when they have to put my roof off. There's 2 or 4s on the side. You got all that stuff all cleaned up, and it's, there's the 2 or 4s are not there no more. And like I say, the only thing I didn't get done, I was trying to get it done, but I just couldn't get it done, was the garage door. I've got somebody's gonna help me do it, and I've got the tracker, I have everything I need. I just gotta get it done.
And then I would suggest you stop accumulating items and
Yeah,
start getting rid of some of them.
yeah.
Commissioner Stephenagel?
Do you have any room inside the building for any more items or not?
Not right now.
Your building's pretty full.
Mm.
I'd like to see the permanent garage doors put on the lean-to, both lean-tos, I guess.
But those are, that, on the carport, it is permanent, it's on hinges. And it's not gonna go nowhere, it's on a frame. I know it doesn't look exactly right now, because the lean-to is leaning a little bit, so it's not even on the top, and I'll get all that taken care of. On both sides, there's 2 hinges on one, you go up one side and open the other side. But that's not gonna go anywhere anymore there.
I think the neighbors would appreciate, the effort to, tidy things up a lot better. And get the permanent doors up.
Yeah, well, like I said, that one is permanent, I just don't have it even on the top, it's just not quite perfect yet. But the lean-to, that's not done yet.
Okay, what is the time frame on the lean-to?
Probably a month. I can send you pictures right as I put it up or something, or what, send them to Randy or.
My concern is that we've met more times than I care to.
Yeah.
July, October, November, and we've had a conversation before then and now in March. So then the work still isn't completely done. Everybody up here agrees and you agree that at least one portion of it isn't done. So what do you see our options? Our options can be, we can dismiss the case, take his word for it that it gets done in 30 days. I guess we can penalize him for not being finished. We could do the work ourselves and charge it to him. We have those options. The thing that's unfortunate, each of these time frames that we've done this, if we've given you 30 days or we've given you 90 days or whatever, it gets done the last week. So I feel like if we give you a week, it'll be done in a week. If we give you a year, it'll be done the week before the year is up. So that, I guess I fear if we say, okay, we're gonna accept the fencing portions and the door portion, then you're gonna have to come back again and we're gonna have to double check that this job is done.
Like I say, I can send Randy some pictures as I work on it.
What anybody have any thoughts on it?
I'd like to see it get done. I don't really wanna see you back here, but I feel like if we don't, there's no assurance it's gonna get done. So maybe put even a 2 week till our next meeting that, the store needs to get put up and set a fine. That if it's not up at that time, then we will fine it.
I agree with Nick. I think we'll do the 2 week and see what kind of improvement. And then from there, I think not
Can you get it done in 2 weeks, get the door up?
Should be.
at that point in time, we'll reevaluate it, look at it again and see if we need to take further action as far as the county taking over and cleaning things up. Because we give you, just like Chad said, plenty of time to address this. And we're to the point now to where at the last minute, a couple things are getting done and that's it, so.
What are the advertising requirements, or what are we required to do as a board if we want to see him back in 2 weeks or a month?
I think it's a continuation of this hearing. We're advising them of it right now. It sounds like basically you have until April 1st to secure the door to the front of the building that you've talked about since who knows when. And if you don't have it done by April 1st, then the board will consider a fine up to whatever the maximum amount is. I don't remember, $500 I think, or maybe greater.
Okay, so I think what the board is asking for, the work gets done, it has to be done before April 1st. If you clarify it with Mr. Bain or with one of us that it looks satisfactory, then you may not even need to come back. But you may want to anyway. Just in case we have any questions. But what we'd all love to do is dismiss this case at the end of the next meeting. You go on with your life, and we leave you alone, and you leave us alone, and it'll do it going forward. But basically, if it's not done by the end of the next meeting, we'll either do it ourselves and charge you, or we will penalize you until it gets done. Does that sound right? So I'll make that as our motion, that we do a continuation of this meeting until the next commissioners meeting, where there needs to be permanent cover on the lean-to. And if it's not, we'll consider further action at that time. Does that sound accurate? Okay, so that's my motion. I got a first and a second. Any other discussion?
No.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Mr. Sykes?
I just want to thank you for working with me. It's been a long haul and long road. And, like I say, get that door done and it'll be looking nice.
Okay. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The next hearing will be set for 9:30. Is that correct?
8:30 on April 1st.
8:30, April 1st. So you're welcome to attend then. Please just have the work done and keep working with Mr. Bain. Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
All All right, we will close the trash court and reconvene the commissioner meeting. Crossvine Solar will be up whenever Commissioner Hostetter is back in.
So the motion was to cover install. Yes.
I'm going to order. I think it's that probably Hey Jenny, can I talk to you?
No.
Who are you, Isabel?
No.
Yeah. So, did you get this? Oh, I didn't know if you get it.
No.
Really, we're gonna have. I think it's James. It is fixed as $1,000, or they $700. That kind of thing. But I mean, we're asked to do it anyway. It's just should be considered as well as the 50,000. Do we have
Put something in there, saying what is our, they go down to the back, how are we going to do that? We're gonna do this. So it's not listed.
Is that what we said? Okay. So somebody that has a greater need. So, go times 20 comes in that case, when they're 7 in the morning. And
I have things to do, and I told everybody.
when the money runs out, those go.
It's just saying.
We have got our funds and it's a sheet that we pull that if we get to put it over this in.
We can give it 3 years. Randy, if you
Sorry,
do-
yes, sir.
It's minor, but
We say one year, no additional bills and structures are to be erected.
That's one thing that I don't think about first serve is that we get 60 from one geographical area. But
Here, I was just mentioning.
Right.
Verbiage that.
I know. We've evolved, we're in plan of having a second one come in. So, yeah.
so maybe for this,
Yeah. And in the end, if I have to leave back out, so they're not just bring it back up.
they think the problem is. It's a critical, just like that.
I'm like, you want to very, very good stuff here real quick.
They're still.
However, they can go with it.
Every day pays totally to be there.
So you think
I'm still-
you're probably.
I'm telling you, it's not too late, we are sitting now still.
So I can.
Yes, you would probably, I guess you want to accept them, so you can leave them in the top or in the operating. I mean, not, but I
No,
mean.
but yes, but they're, if I'm looking close, they try.
No, I, do you want to see?
That's it. We have the white.
I think it made me feel like, where we at, it's what it is for sure.
We try to find the best people. We got it right, so.
I figure out our status.
But also.
So,
Fall back, fall back, whatever.
We have a meeting tomorrow, Randy meeting
But,
Randy.
you do what they can, so I guess.
Oh, good.
But now
No, because if I ever get a figure, I'll go down to the world.
We should use
I'm asking,
Basically, one down here, we're saying that.
That's good.
Yeah, because they did have.
Right, yeah,
So basically, I apologize.
Thank you.
Wonderful to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks. I'll get that.
Okay, Crossline Solar.
Road use agreement?
Okay,
Are you guys ready?
yes, no, go ahead,
Sorry.
he answered my question.
Good morning.
Commissioners, my name is Darren Jacobs, and I represent LifeSource BP, which is developing the Crossvine Solar Project. Today, we want to bring before you, we've been working with your county engineer and your county attorney on a road use agreement that I think was started with Michael Wellman, I think has been before you before. And I think this was just to kind of finalize and hopefully get this agreement to a final form. I think the biggest thing to note in the agreement is,
For the record too, just so for the public that's watching, where would your project be located, what size, just can you give us a little bit of basics on it?
sure, so we are out, would be west of the Huntingburg area. And honestly, I apologize, I don't know the exact size and the number of acres. It's approximately 100 megawatt solar project. And we hope to start construction maybe by the end of this year. That's the goal. Could be as early as, or could be as late as spring of next year.
Located near US 231, Highway 231.
Was it Old New Holland Road, that area, I think. Again, I apologize.
By the airport.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, out west of the airport.
Okay, thank you.
On the road use agreement, to stipulate to the, we did provide the county engineer with the roads that we were proposing to use. And that's on the last page, the exhibit. These roads could be changed. We sort of took a broad view of the roads that we were planning to use. We hope that as we get closer to construction, we'll work with our EPC and maybe try to narrow down and use as few roads as possible. That's better for everybody, and to also work with your engineer to figure out maybe which roads might be better, and if there's possibly circulation of traffic rather than two-way traffic. But on the last page, it shows the roads that we currently are planning to use, along with the length of those roads, what type of material, and the bond amount that we would be looking to put in place for all of those roads.
Mr. Wendell, do you have any other continuing issues with any of that?
No, sir.
Mr. Singer, do you have any issues with that?
No, I had made some requested changes based upon our previous road use agreement, and some citizen concerns on that. To try to keep things consistent with these projects. They were happy to, I don't know, they did them, whether they're happy or not. They made those changes, so I think it's acceptable.
Yeah, and to that point, I know one of the things that came up was about the discussion of the project with those that would be affected. And we put into the agreement that we'll contact them, that we're going to work to make sure that the neighbors know what's going on. Right now, the plan is to hopefully to have some type of a kickoff meeting prior to the start of construction somewhere in the area where we invite those folks to come in, they can take a look at the map, they can ask questions and discuss, sort of what's going on, how things may be phased, when they might be affected and whatnot.
As far as I can tell with the road use agreement, I think I've seen it in a couple iterations, and it was satisfactory to me. And the communication piece was upgraded as it was with EDP. So that's good that people will be communicated with. I don't have any questions on that part. Either of you?
No, sounds pretty straightforward.
So anything else in your presentation?
No, that's it. I will note, and I see that EDP's on here, discuss decommissioning, and we've just started those conversations again with your county attorney, and obviously kind of the, what gets decided with EDP will play into our conversation, but we're ready to have that conversation as well. So we're ready to start discussing a decommissioning agreement and to get that ball moving as well. So,
Okay, and we had a conversation a couple times regarding permitting. Are you satisfied with where we stand on that?
yeah, I think I understand, and I think we'll work towards trying to get something in, some type of a site plan so we can kind of work through that process, see what all you all would like to see, and then how we can sort of memorialize that you've seen that agreement, that site plan.
Okay, so is the request today to approve the road use agreement?
Yes, Commissioner, yeah, it would be to approve the road use agreement as presented.
Mr. Schneider, are we out of order? Should we have to permit first, or does it?
No, I think it's, again, we did the EDP road use prior to a permit being done. It helps them get their financing bonded in place, so we can go ahead and approve it.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public on this issue? Seeing none, I move that we approve the road use agreement.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you.
There are versions up there for them to sign.
Might be able to get a copy. How many copies do you need, Mr. Schneider?
How many do you guys do?
I just wanted to get that.
Just signing all three of them. We'll leave one with Brent, one with auditor's office, and one with Crossman.
Just one signature on it.
Here's the.
You're next, Mr. Woodman.
That's all.
How's it going? Were you the one keeping in the morning?
Do what?
Were you the one keeping in the morning?
Yeah. See if it's my turn yet.
All right. Ms. Porter, you're up. Will you please tell everybody who you are?
Sean Warner, DuBois County Health Department Administrative Director. I'm here today to ask for approval to enter into an agreement or MOU with Purdue Extension to provide food as medicine to some county residents through our Help To grant. So we received some funds to start a new chronic disease prevention program, and food as medicine is one thing that we wanted to partner with Purdue because it's nutrition education and teaches people healthy aging, active living. So I sent one draft out, that was my proposal, and then Purdue reviewed it and said that they do not want the employee portion of it coming out of this agreement because the employee, I thought it was a Purdue Extension employee, it's actually a county employee. So they took that out, and now I think this MOU, I think I resent it. This is just a copy of it. I just need print two of them, but so basically it's just the food starter kits and the food supplies out of the Purdue portion, and then the employee, I'm gonna have to work with Sandy or somebody figure out how to pay that employee. I don't know if we need to do another agreement with county to county, or if I could just, pay their payroll through this grant. I don't know. That might be a question for you, Sandy,
I'm sorry.
how we can work that
I missed the
out.
whole conversation. I was busy.
Okay, so he had two agreements here. The first one has been revised with the input from Purdue.
Purdue, yeah.
Purdue Extension people. And
Say I got the new one, I printed the new one out this morning.
I brought the new one along because what their concern was is, the employee that is gonna be doing this work is, I think, an intern with Purdue. Chelsea couldn't be here today, but from what I think, she told me that they have an intern that's gonna be doing this 11-week project through Foods Medicine. And that is not an extension employee, it's a county employee. So how do I take this Help to funds and pay their county employee? They're not on my payroll. I just have the money to do this grant.
And they're already being paid. These grant people aren't going to want.
Well, this is gonna be on top of their duties, and then they're gonna get paid for this 11-week program. But this is mainly probably gonna be above and beyond what they're doing.
Outside of their normal work hours?
I would assume so, but that would be a Chelsea question. This would be above and beyond their hours, probably what
Because
they're
your
working.
grant doesn't have, your grant has a contracted service, doesn't have a payroll.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought I was doing this through Purdue, and then they threw a curveball to me on Friday and said that, no, they don't want that in there. Because I've got
Because
the contractual line item, for the Foods Medicine employee, 20 to 25 hours a week for 11 weeks is $6,000.
because you're gonna have to have benefits and all that, and you're gonna have to create a position, and
Well,
I mean, this
it would
is,
be part-time.
it would still be, a position needs to be created, because there is no position for this.
Well, he's saying that this person's already at the county.
It's already a county employee. She says she's an intern with,
But you're paying them out of your grant versus Purdue paying them.
that's what I'm saying. How do I get the money out of this grant to pay another county employee? Do I have to put them on my payroll? Because that's not what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to,
But that's what she's asking you to do.
there's no way I could have a contract with county office and pay.
An employee's an employee, they can't be a contracted individual if they're an employee.
So I have to go with Marky to create a position.
We can't be, if you're an employee, you can't also be a contracted worker. You're either one or you're the other.
So there's no way I can take this grant funds and pay county extensions payroll with it.
You'd have to pay this person directly, like they'd be on your payroll.
So then I guess I'm gonna be asking for a part-time position here today too.
Possibly.
When does this need to begin? It's
They're
supposed to
gonna
start.
start in April.
So really, part one, we can pay for products. That's not a problem. Everybody's right, section one, not an issue.
Mhm.
What is Purdue Extension submitting invoices? They're submitting things to you for what?
The food starter kits, the food safety
The
supplies.
items listed in number one.
Yeah,
They will get them and they will invoice you for those, so that's not a problem. They will collect data. The issue is going to be FAM program support cost has been estimated to be an amount due by DuBois County Health Department. Maximum annual cost is $5,000,
that's the supplies.
right?
The first one I sent to you was for $18,200. I had everything for
Right.
Foods Medicine. I thought just give it to Purdue, and then they didn't want to do that because they're using a county employee to do this work instead of a Purdue employee.
There's your
That's my
glitch
problem.
right there.
These services are agreed to based upon an understanding of purchase. So this document here doesn't say anything about an employee. So this, we could approve this today.
I know that's why they took it out. I had it in the first one, and they took the employee out.
Right, I know, I got that one too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, we can approve this, because we don't have a problem with you buying these supplies after you're getting invoiced from Purdue, but that doesn't solve your second problem, but I mean, at least gets this part of it done. Do you agree, Sandy?
Yeah, because if this is one of our
I mean, if that's
employees
the case,
already, we're already paying them.
I don't even need Purdue. If that's the case, if I hire that employee, they can buy their own stuff and I can pay them. You see what I'm saying? I don't need,
You went into it with one viewpoint, and it's a completely different
Yeah.
animal now.
I wanted Purdue Extension to do this program because it's their program. They do it in other counties, I just give them $18,000 and say, do it.
What are they doing with other counties? Because didn't I just see that another county partnered with them to do the same thing?
I don't know, and maybe, I wish Chelsea could have been here, but she couldn't, she had another meeting.
I don't know how you can approve it till we get more.
But But I think they've already started purchasing some supplies, so we probably need to go ahead and do this anyway. Because we've already bought, the refrigerator for the project, or for the project to be able to store the food in a safe manner. We purchased that and, gave that to them, or, basically transferred to their inventory. I didn't really want to have another worker under my payroll just to do this.
And where are you gonna find a contractor that'll do an 11-week program? You know, that'll be,
Well, they've got an employee, that's why I was hoping I could just pay them.
but you see where we're coming from. If they're an employee, they must have things that they're supposed to be doing already. And if they want them to do this job function,
But if it's a part-time employee and they're doing this in their off time.
They might do that, I don't know if they.
You could, you'd still have to have an employee in your help grant to pay for them to be an employee there.
I can't contract with the county extension to provide an employee, and then I pay them through that contract.
Their employees are ours,
That's what I'm asking. I don't know all the rules, I'm just trying to.
unless it's Purdue's employee,
That's my problem, they don't want it to be,
it's our employee, so it's our employee.
not my employee.
Doesn't matter, it's still the county employee.
It'd be really helpful to have Chelsea here.
I think
well, our meeting will probably run for another half hour. If you want to, at least another half hour, we can just table it for, she's gonna be
She
busy
said
all day.
she was busy all day with meetings.
Okay. I was gonna say
Next
maybe-
meeting's April 1st.
We don't wanna make it any more, I don't care. I don't wanna make it any more complicated, but we don't wanna approve something, then you get in trouble for, you can't pay a person, right? And then we have,
But I think if you approve it and we end up having to renegotiate the terms of that based upon what we learned from the employee standpoint, either with HR or the auditor's office.
Well, if you're saying there's no way I can pay Purdue or county extension for their, I'm gonna have to get approval to hire a 11-week part-time position for 25 hours. And then I don't even need Purdue because that same employee can purchase all these supplies and I can reimburse to us. And then he or she is just putting the program on.
And if that's the route you want to go, then we shouldn't do an MOU with Purdue at
No.
this point.
No.
But you want to say, it seems like we need to get a few more things in line.
you want this, original back?
The only other thing you can do is you can create a temporary position that you have that works there. And council will have to go with salary ordinance and all that. I mean,
You're saying we can have a county employee that has 2 jobs at the county?
we have that already.
With who?
We have some people that, don't we have people that work 2 different places or 2 different, come out of 2 different line items? Yes, we do.
As an example.
Isn't there an interpreter one?
Well, no, we had somebody who worked for the courts part-time and then they worked in another office and they'd have to keep their hours separate, that kind of thing. I mean, it's,
That works, it's fine with me. I mean, if you person having 2 part-time jobs, I guess.
but you have to create that position. And like I said, the council would have to add salary ordinance for this position.
You'll have our support to do whatever you need to do to get this done for 11 weeks, I think.
But that's not gonna happen until April 1st, unless I can try and call Chelsea and see if she tells me that's okay over the phone, but
Yeah, if you wanna work on something here for the next little while, we won't adjourn until we hear from you.
Council meets this evening.
Huh?
Council meets this evening.
would I need to come back then?
Well, if we're gonna create a position and have a,
Then they have to get started on paying them. Sorry, Sean.
I'll return.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, Mr. Beeler here for Austin House subdivision.
Good morning.
Morgan Phil Beeler with Grossman Surveying and Engineering here on behalf of Austin Michael Hauser. Austin is in attendance here as well. So what we are presenting this morning is a one lot subdivision where Pine Ridge Road hits 400 South,
Jefferson.
Jefferson Civil Township, correct? And the reason that we are here in front of you as opposed to the subdivision review committee is you will notice on the plat there at the north end of the property, there's two structures out there that have us here. At the north end of the property, there's an existing barn that is located both in, so we take the quarter section line as we typically do / center line of the road, and we offset that 30 feet for the dedication to right of way. That's the strip showed up at the north of 0.296 acres. So there's your 30-foot right of way, and then from there we have a 20-foot public utility and drainage easement, and then a 35-foot building setback line, standard procedure that we do on all the plats. In this case, there's an existing barn up there, an old barn that is situated within that right of way, in the dedicated right of way, and then the south part of that barn then extends down into the proposed public utility and drainage easement. The intent is for that barn to remain farther down to the south. You'll see a barn that is situated just to the east of the proposed lot line, thus situating that existing barn within the 20-foot public utility and drainage easement. In the dedication and deed restrictions as it relates to that south barn, there's verbiage in there about a commitment for the landowner to remove that structure. So that structure would be going away.
Which one is that again, please?
The one to the south. This one down here.
That one?
Which would be that structure.
We don't have a time frame, we don't have anything, but that's his words that that'll happen. And is it this one? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one is to be removed.
That one is to be removed, and then there's the big barn is there. It's the barn, the smaller barn to the north that is situated within both the right of way and left.
So when you're driving down the road heading south, this is what you would run into, correct? At the T? Boston, does that sound right?
Yeah.
Is this what it looks like when you're driving south and you run into the T? This one?
Yes, sir.
So this would be the barn that is non-conforming.
Correct.
And this barn barely makes it.
Yeah, that barn actually is, if you look, that barn is into the building setback.
I guess on the north side it makes it, on the side it does. So is this part that you have that has an angle, is that this lean-to? Or this additional part?
No, I think that's the next building.
Oh, that's the next building?
Yeah.
So what is
That's the one that'll be
this shape here?
Or maybe that's.
That's part of that building.
Yeah, that's part of that. That's this part that juts out here.
Yeah, that's the part you showed the forge guys at, to the right there.
This?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that is attached to that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's attached to that, sorry.
So we have three non-conforming areas. This one, that, and that.
I think this one, the edge of that building is right here.
Okay, I guess I just didn't understand that.
This north, well, that's the driveway or the rock around it. There's a drive coming down that provides access to both of these landowners over here. That's an existing easement that we're citing there.
Okay, and so you're saying that that is not a building, that's not a structure.
That's right. Now, the north, and we didn't address it, the north part of this structure is actually into the building setback, but not into the public utility and drainage easement. So I guess we could say that, so there would be two remaining structures after that barn is removed, that in some capacity don't conform. They would be existing.
Excuse me.
So this one stays?
That's proposed to this one that's farthest down here.
Right, okay.
In the dedicated right of way and the public utility drainage easement.
Brent, we have no right to any other piece of this property, right, of the acreage, like any continuation of the road platted, there's nothing like that.
Correct.
Just because we agree, right, if the road is,
Correct.
we have no right to anything here as a county. Correct. And it offsets a little bit.
It curves over and turns south over to the west. Yeah.
So my initial thought for the board is that historically, I'm pretty much, try to be in favor of the landowner as much as possible, and I don't want to do anything that's silly, like tear down buildings, we don't have to. With that being said, the northernmost barn, I guess any of them, because all three of them, we could say, we could just deny it based on any of them, because they're, they're not conforming. I don't want to do anything silly, but even though it's written in here that it could be subject to future right-of-way activities, right? That's a nice way of putting that. In other words, in the future, we can tell them we need to tear it down because we want to do something there. But that's pretty difficult to do in the future. I mean, if we as a county highway or as a county don't like it, now would be the time probably to do something with it. That being said, if he doesn't plat it, I guess it's still in the right of way now. Is it not? The northern one is in the,
There's no, I don't think there's any dedicated right away on 400 right now.
So he's compliant today, but because he wants to plat it.
If we had chosen to do a parcelization, whether or not that building is in the right of way or not, that conversation is just not going to happen, right? Because there would, well, maybe not. Through the process of parcelization, we're not doing a formal dedication of right of way. That would be the difference with parcelization. So, so that verbiage in there that you alluded to, I further acknowledge, be subject to the right of way activities of the county of DuBois. That was one. There was that Sanger plat that I had sent to Sandy that we had done 6 or so years ago. That was the verbiage that was in there. If we feel like we need to put some stronger verbiage in there, then we can do that.
So I think this one gives it a little, I mean, it's pretty close to the road. You can see it a little better from this. I mean, I could make an argument that, no, we can't do it, it's not, whatever. But that being said, if he has nothing, it's sitting there, we haven't done anything about it all these years.
Well, and then if you go off the road, just, the next property there.
No. Brandon, I mean, is it a safety hazard of the building here?
This building's been there for a long time, and it's never been an issue, never had a problem or complaints with that building. So that wouldn't be a problem. If we would do an intersection improvement, and Austin knows, we talk about it. If we would do an intersection improvement, we would have to widen, something would happen. You understand that building could go, but
And whose expense does it come down at?
I don't know if they're taking the building down for this reason, I don't know, that's a good question.
Mr. Schneider, what do you think?
I think if it is platted and it is in the right of way and it needs to be taken down for us to utilize the right of way, would be the landowner's responsibility to remove it. Or his cost.
And are you okay with the, wishy-washy language?
I mean, I'd hate for it to, again, I think Mr. Beeler just mentioned something to me prior to that if it did come down, it's not going back up there, we'd have to stay outside of it. It's a prior non-conforming use, but it won't be a continuing non-conforming use.
Just language on the paperwork needs to be firmed up to say right-of-way activities up to and including removal of the building at landowner's expense or structure owner's expense.
That would certainly help us, yes.
Anybody on the board feel that's necessary, or am I taking this too far?
I mean,
I'm happy to
no, I think.
be wrong if I am.
I think you're on the right track here. I don't see this barn coming down anytime soon, but I think we have to cover our bases for the future, so I wouldn't have a problem having them add that.
Does anybody on the board feel strong about having it remove this building before we approve this?
No, I don't think it has to be removed now.
Okay. And I agree with that. What your
I agree, there's no reason to remove it now.
Okay. And what about the language? Are you satisfied with the language? If you
I
had to
would-
make an improvement in this area, are you gonna feel happy with that? If this was
There's
another.
gonna be a lot of, there's a lot of gray area for costs. As far as removing it, there's no doubt that it has to be removed. And I think we could fight that it's gotta come down, but now, who pays for it? I really didn't think about that avenue. I was just saying if it comes down, it comes down. I didn't think about that, so.
Is that a legal deed restriction? To put that language in there that it's in violation, if it has to come down, it's gonna be at the owner's cost?
I think if he's agreeable to that and willing to apply it that way, then we can agree upon that as a restriction.
Mr. Hauser, are you satisfied, good for you?
The southern building, the southern structure is coming down, it just lays in a wet area, so I didn't want my excavator making a mess in there right now.
Right.
The northern building right by the road, what was my great-great-grandpa's bus shed, that's why you put it right next to the road. That structure's not in the greatest shape. It will come down in time. The big barn is the only one that, is in good shape. So.
And the big barn primarily is the one building we're not talking about.
Right,
Right,
I mainly talk
I
about
was
the
just
one
trying
nearest
to
the road.
clear, yes, I know, yeah, make full circle.
I'd hate to see the big barn come down.
We're, that's the one thing, he said, if it falls down, I can't rebuild it, I'm just gonna maintain it. It's more for sentimental value, it's my family's property, but that northern building right next to the county road, in time, that will fall down. It's got groundhogs in it, in and out, I've always battled it, it's, something that it's gonna fall down. And I'm not putting anything back, rebuilding it. It's, when it falls down, it's gonna get cleaned up and go in a dumpster down the road.
The southern barn, what is your time frame on removal?
Whenever
This year?
yes, no, yeah, but
Sandy put a big note of that the owner is confirmed that structure will be gone by the end of the year.
What is the plan for this? Is there a plan?
Austin, do you want to speak to that?
What is your plan for this?
I sectioned off that property for my business I'm starting.
Okay.
That's the reason we can't parcelize it, because it's going to a business and not to,
It's not.
not a residential.
Southern structure.
Well, I guess where I would stand, unless you guys want to approve it as is, that we would have that language, then we approve it.
Yeah, I don't think, I think it's a
And we
good idea.
wait Mr. Bueller's,
My fancy
Your
word
word.
here, but, so to clarify that, so we would be saying that if this building, if the northern building needs to be removed because of county activity in the right of way, that would be removed at the expense of the landowner.
Well, I
Yes,
think you
that
can either
definitely-
add that language, or you can just tear the building down and leave it as is, am I right?
Correct.
So,
So yeah, I guess my question is, sorry not to cut in, but if Brent wants to widen that intersection or add a lane or something, to right away, before that falls down, he would come to me and say, you need to remove that structure.
correct.
At
at
my
your
cost.
expense, yeah.
That's my thought, if you're not opposed to it, if you got an excavator in there tearing the other building down, and you're not opposed to doing it now, you wouldn't have to change the language unless you just tear it down now. It's done.
You gotta know. on that,
That's up to
Austin.
you.
I believe what they're saying is if you choose to leave that building remaining, then they would want some you want verbiage on the face of the plat as opposed to just in the minutes that he
As a deed
would do.
Yeah.
And so are you saying that also the large barn, the one that's nice, it's within the setback?
It gets
Yeah.
a couple feet over the 35-foot building setback line.
And so what would that mean for anything in the future development? What does that hurt?
It doesn't hurt anything right now. The building setback line is mainly just to keep houses away from the road. Commissioners, the time of the original subdivision was to keep everybody, so they're not right on the road.
So it would be valuable if Mr. Hauser, what if builds a structure there, stay off of that line.
Yeah.
Or stay on that line or back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really.
I'll never build anything else.
Yeah,
Right,
And-
that would make sense.
with the existing barn, the big one, the nicer one, that's minor. That's very, very minor, not a big deal.
Where the southern structure is, I might put a rock parking lot in the future, and that's it. I mean, that's no buildings.
Which is a lot.
So, I mean, if, unless the board wants to go a different direction, that's how I would do it, where you would just clean up that language. Or if you feel okay with it, just being in the minutes, that this is what the intent was. If it's on there, it just makes it a lot easier to find, and keeps everybody a little more,
Well, and I know how it is to try to go back through the minutes. and find some-
especially.
The only way I would put it in the minutes is if you noted on there that it's in the certain date minutes. Because otherwise you'll never find it.
I think the language needs to change on there. I agree with Chad. So,
So just to clarify, because given some timeframes that Austin has with his business that he's getting set up, what I'd like to do is get that verbiage changed and maybe get that back up to you today for signatures while you're still here, if that's okay.
we're not gonna be here that much longer.
You're not.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow, that clock is really flying, look at that.
Look at time fly over there.
That's messed up.
It's one of those atomic ones, they reset every so often. One does it.
That's weird.
Wow.
How about this? We need all the signatures, I mean, how long will it take you to review it?
15 minutes.
We'll do it, we'll wait for you.
Yeah.
We will,
Cause I do need this for my, my partial.
yeah, we don't want to screw anything up, so if you can get back up here, we'll wait for you.
And so to clarify, I would be adding verbiage as it relates to just the cost of taking it down. Do I need to add any verbiage about not replacing it in that same location if it were to be replaced?
I think,
Or is
I think that's general, I mean, that would be the rule for
that'll be
everybody.
the rule once it's gone. I think you need to put in there where you talk about us utilizing the right of way, that could include the removal of the existing barn at the owner's expense.
We're still talking about the small one, right?
I'm talking about the north barn, the bus barn.
That's-
Or the one that's in the right.
When I saw you were concerned, I
Or the
thought-
old
That's
shed.
that's what it was.
Or the groundhog sanctuary.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'll go add that verbiage and be right back.
Mr. Reynolds, is there anything else with how the land has been split up, with any other issues with that parcel? Is there anything that you need to be aware of?
It's all per ordinance. And he's got road frontage off of Pine Ridge, the south, and he's got an easement, so he's fine. He's just make sure you don't close yourself in. You know, if you start selling properties off the edge of the road, you landlock that property. So, oh, no, he's fine.
So within there, we say, and affirm that said barn is to be taken down and reviewed as it relates to the south barn. Is that we had in the minutes that he committed to doing that this year, so is that sufficient on that aspect of it?
So this sounds.
He looks like an honest fella. No, I think that if you want to put it in there, that'd be fine too, that it's done by the end of the year, otherwise I think we're okay.
For this.
And that's that. Yeah, just that other one. Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, EDP, I apologize for hunting you up. Your turn.
Yes, thanks.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Bridget Shia, Project Manager of EDP Renewables, here today to discuss the Top Solar Park. Thank you for having me again today, and thank you also to Greg and Brent and all of you for your work on and support on the road use agreement. I really appreciate that. So today I'd like to provide an overview again, just of the basics of the Duff Solar Park, give you an update on recent progress we've made with the project, and then discuss the specific agenda item, the decommissioning agreement we would like to sign with you today. Also happy to answer questions along the way, and with me I do have Macy Downes, Associate Director of Development, and Dave McGimsey, Attorney Denton, who's been our counsel on this agreement. Do you all have copies of the agreement?
I just passed them on.
Okay, thank you, Greg. So the Duff Solar Project is a 100 megawatt AC project currently in development, which we are hoping to start construction on this fall. The project is located just west of Huntingburg in the Duff area. It represents a capital investment of about $150 million, which we expect to generate approximately $25 million of property tax paid to the county over the life of the project. We expect these tax dollars to go towards the Southwest School Corps, the Huntingburg Library, emergency services in the area. And then the project will also pay approximately $30 million to landowners over the life of the project, the life of the project being about 35 years. In terms of an update on the progress of the project, we're excited that we have received a lot of support from the local landowners. We have over 20 landowners participating and have met with them pretty regularly. we've completed environmental and engineering studies on their properties and are now working with the landowners to determine the exact placement of the panels. Also in final contract negotiations with the Indiana-based construction firm, and they will be working hand in hand with us to finalize the solar design. So as I mentioned, we're hoping to start construction later this fall. Our recent focus has really been these agreements and permits. Grateful again for the support of the commissioners. We signed a road use agreement last month, now presenting the decommissioning agreement, and then we hope to submit our commercial solar energy system permit in April. So I'll pause there if you have any questions on the project.
Mr. Schneider, there's not gonna be any other attachment? This is the document in full? There's an A and a B?
Yes.
And there's no,
No aerial observed exhibits.
Okay, so turning to the decommissioning agreement, I'd like to give the commissioners a quick overview. So this agreement obligates EDP Renewables with the full responsibility to decommission this project. Those obligations are listed in attachment A. So at a high level, decommissioning is the disassembling and removal of all the equipment and improvements, the remediation of the site, and the disposal of the materials. So more specifically in attachment A, we list the equipment plan that the equipment we plan to remove. That includes the panels, the piles, inverters, fencing, access roads, so all improvements. We also plan to restore the site to its pre-construction use. So this works in conjunction with attachment B, which is the agricultural soil reclamation plan. But that describes that we plan to minimize ground disturbance and specifically maintain the amount and quality of topsoil on each property as well.
when there's a disagreement on what limited tree removal means between you and the owner, how does that work out?
In this county, actually, we do have pretty stringent requirements on what tree clearing we can do. That's just because of bat habitats in the area, and we need to consult with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, so I don't really anticipate much tree clearing in the area. That being said, we do consult with the landowners on all the buildable areas, so if they had issues with tree clearing, then we could consider that non-buildable and we would not build there.
Do you have a copy of one of your contracts with the landowner I could look at?
I
it doesn't
don't
need to be
have
a
it on
generic
me.
one. It didn't have to be one that was actually, I guess the reason I'm asking, I didn't know what they're agreeing to. Are they agreeing that you can take down every tree on the property if you deem it necessary, or how that works? Do you believe they can make?
Theoretically, yes. Essentially, we have a lease across the whole property, and if an area of the property is deemed to be part of the solar facility's property, that's the defined term in the contract, and the tree is there, then we have the right to clear it, remove it. And so that right is there, but as Bridget is saying, it's there are a lot of, in particular in this area, environmental factors around protected species like bats that make tree removal quite difficult. And so it would be unlikely that any large tree stands would actually be removed. We're talking more just one-off clumps, maybe kind of in the middle of the field.
And I guess part of what I'm looking at is I want to protect the citizens, but they've already signed whatever rights they have. If you're planning to use the property, whatever rights they've signed, I guess they should have done their due diligence to be comfortable with whatever they were signing. Is there, I don't know what protection we can give them any more than confirming that at the end of the deal, it should go back to a like property, right, as it is today.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons we don't specify that the properties will be returned to their exact condition. You know, we specify that they'll be returned to their pre-construction use, farming usually in this case.
You're not gonna be able to plant a 12-year-old tree, or, or the same vegetation necessarily. I just think, I'm putting myself in these people's position, and if you've dug a 3 foot, it talks about being 3 feet below grade, so, I mean, your land could come back theoretically pretty choppy, I would think, if you're gonna be doing a lot of that on your purchase property. But, I guess that's what people have agreed to do, so I'm not gonna get in the way of that. See any problems? Mr. Mayor, anything else that we need to know about this?
We've talked about it a lot, and again, there are obviously these individual lease agreements with each of the landowners dictate, I guess, what your understanding within this, which we're not a party to, like I said.
So I think for an overall protective document, I think this is the best we can hope for. Even talked about reseeding the property when it's done. Again, as I told you, every time we talk, I'm still gun shy about doing any of this stuff because the coal mines have left us with a big hole that's not reclaimed as it was promised. So that's what I was worried about too. The DEP is bankrupt in 25 years and we have another variation of a coal mine. So that was my concern, but we can't stop progress because someone may or may not be bankrupt in 25 years, I guess. Any thoughts, Mr. Ostetter?
If our attorney's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Same here.
Any discussion from anybody in the public? No. Anything else you need to add?
No, I'm happy to pause there. I just want to say, I hope this was a helpful overview of the Dove Solar Park and the decommissioning agreement, and excited to be moving forward with our design and providing a permit to the county at permit application in the next few weeks and continuing our relationship there. Happy to answer any further questions, and also always appreciate Greg's support on these agreements.
Mr. Schneider, have there been any changes to this in the last couple of weeks since the last time I've had a copy of it?
The attachments were amended somewhat. We addressed some language regarding if a portion of the project, basically prorating the refund of the decommissioning funds. If this 40-acre tract is done, it's not producing any longer, but those are the big things that I can recall. So,
You mean like releasing a partial part of the bond or
a
something?
portion of it, yes, as opposed to all of it, or the whole thing has to be non-functioning. Does that sound right? Yeah. Other than that, no.
Is there a single signature spot here?
There is, it's
I
on
have one
page
from the 12.
9, oh, sorry, page 10.
Yes. Okay, Tim.
Mine's from, this is from, sent on the 12th.
This, the one that's here is the one that, because I changed like the word March.
I have a copy with the signature box.
No, we have the signature, just making sure we're signing the right one.
Okay, we just have different copies that we'll send out.
I'll move the,
Let me see yours. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, let's go. Here's one right.
I'll move that we approve the Dubois County decommissioning plan agreement that has been provided by EDP.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
So we're going forward these again, you'll take two, or if you can get two signed in back to us.
Yep, okay, great.
Mr. Eckerly, we've heard from two other solar companies today. Do you have anything you'd like to add? All right. Mr. McGinty, it's good to see you.
Likewise, Mr. Commissioner.
Okay, next up we have Scott Hope. We do have a storage unit for to be declared surplus. Looks like it's a 36 by 72 unit with 4 shelves. It has no longer has any use. I'll move that we declare that surplus to be disposed of.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, do you want to give me this, give me my card so you can go back to me? And you can get that with that. Sorry. Rather than the mail that to me.
We'll wait for one of the surveyors to come back from last time.
When we budget for her.
I get out to test. Just because it's not here doesn't mean you should be removed.
All right, what do we have?
The two, she would really like 2 color copiers if possible, but if not, we'd like to use the ARPA money. There's 2 color copiers, here's two black and white, and here's one. The prosecutor's office back here has 2 copier scanner faxes that are aged, but they still work. The server, we have to keep an older server to even make them, the scanning ability work on. We'd like to get rid of that instance and get them new machines so that we don't have to keep that old instance on our server. She has a quote here that we could use, if we could use ARPA funds to pay for these 2 copiers. She has a quote for color and she has a quote for black and white, and they would trade these other 2 in. She'd prefer 2 color if she could get them. If not, I understand that. So we'll leave that up to you guys. Here's the.
One color, one black and white?
Right.
Would that be sufficient?
So the reason that, so these were sent to us, or at least to me, I looked at it, so I don't know if everybody looked at it.
I sent it to y'all.
But okay, you did.
But
So everybody had, the cost, the way they operate now, you buy a unit and then you pay so many cents, like 0.008 cents per black and white copy and 0.08 cents for every color copy. And what they do is they pay, that means they will cover maintenance, they cover replacing the toners and all of those. So it's 100 times more expensive for I don't know if that's the right number, I'm making numbers up. It's a lot more expensive to do the color ones for anytime you do that. So my suggestion was, why don't we do one of each? And it'll give them the functionality that they don't have already, and it'd be a couple $1,000s cheaper on the front end, and maintenance would be cheaper. And anybody, I believe, would be able to have their computer set up to print at any unit that they want.
if we upgrade them to server, yes.
Right, so it seemed like that was the best course for the because like even at the bank, I'll accidentally print something in color sometime that I don't need in color, and you pay, we're gonna pay more.
Now, our color copier over there, we have 2 printer options. One's the black and white option, one's the color option. So we have the same printer doing the same thing. We just choose which printer we want. If we want color, we choose the default's the black and white. But
So it says that the maintenance agreement's the same.
The other ones are,
There's also 8 cents. All inclusive maintenance agreement, 8 cents.
that's 2 zeros before, so that's a,
I was looking here, yeah.
there's 2 different
yeah, so
copies
that's
on
less
it.
than
So
a
that's
penny a
per color
copy, that's
copy.
8 cents a copy.
But that conceivably won't change. You know what I mean? If we get a black and white and color, everything they're gonna print in color now, they're gonna print on 1 copier in color versus 2 copiers in color.
They don't print anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying though, is if we had 2 color copiers, the black and white prints are the same cost as they would be if we bought the black and white copier. So if they print 100 sheets a day of color, it wouldn't matter if they had 2 copiers or 1, that's what we're using. so.
Right, if they,
So
She
the
just
next
mentioned
difference
if
would
she
be the
could pick two, she would
$1,500
take
upfront
two
cost.
colors, but it's up, I said it's up to you guys.
I see what you're saying, if you were, if everybody hit the buttons properly, you're gonna get
That's right.
the same number of color copies.
Right.
I know in my, like, in my usage, because I have a color option, sometimes it's set up the color from the last time I printed, so I printed the next thing in color that I don't need. I don't care, I mean,
I'm not
I've
opposed,
hurt feelings either
I'm
way.
not opposed to doing two color copiers, but there's a $1,500 difference. I guess it's not 1,500. It's
Well,
not
if you
3,000.
did two colors, it would be $14,057.60.
So it'd be about 3,000.
If you did one of each, it'd be $12,541.60. If you did two black and white, it'd be $11,025.
So you're at about $1,500 difference.
Each, yeah.
I say we do one of each.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that. Okay,
And you're okay if I use ARPA funds if the council approves tonight?
and I don't know, is the board up to date about what we're doing there? Because we need to get the ARPA money, I think, from what I'm told, we need to get the ARPA money spent. So we're
We need to get it
kind of,
committed.
we're kind of trying to start using that. I've had a commitment from the council that any money that, say we take out $100 from something that we previously were gonna use out of ARPA, they are still gonna support using that same amount of money, right? We're just kind of using it up first.
Trying to make sure we're doing it, but
Yes. Does that sound, makes sense? All right, land surveying is back.
We're back. So I added a statement saying that should any of the activities within the right of way require removal, that would be done at the expense of the owner of lot one. Greg read that. Should be the last sentence in that second paragraph.
Everything just wanted to stay. I'll move that we approve the request for the D&B Estate subdivision of Jefferson County, and for this us accepting, what exactly would we call what we're doing?
Yes, you're just accepting the subdivision, the entire subdivision.
Subdivision for D&B Estates.
I'll move that we approve the subdivision of D&B Estate as it's been presented here.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
And it's you to,
So you're dating or you'll be dating? Sorry for that.
but not gonna get, yep. Thank you. Those are good, those two.
There's two.
David, you left again?
He's on his phone, he's working at it.
That's right.
Okay, I think those two are done.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Hey, good luck with your project. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Mary, you mind checking in the hallway to see if we have a health department director wandering around?
Oh, yeah, he did pop in, but.
Guys, I really copied, it was a consensus, you guys didn't make a motion, right?
No, we did not. Make
Just a
We
consensus.
didn't need one.
Nope. Consensus, because
We can kick the door open too.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
You still need a minute?
I think I found a solution, hopefully.
Solutions are good.
All right, so I talked to Chelsea, I think she's actually on her way, but, so the $5,000 with Purdue is gonna stay, the MOU if we can get that approved. The personnel and then the food items that are gonna be purchased, I found out through Chelsea, they're gonna be contracting with Calorita, which is a business in Pike County that provides like to-go meals, food boxes. They're gonna be doing the work and the food prep, purchasing all the food, so I'm gonna hopefully get your approval to enter into an MOU with them. They can contract with us, we can pay them once the invoices, if that's okay with the commissioners. So I need to draft
So these
that.
agreements are no good?
The one is,
So the one with
Oh,
Purdue,
so will that other company you're talking about, they will have the employee?
they will have the employee, the personnel, and then the $6,000 for the food purchase is the plan. So we still need to do the MOU for 5,000 with
Is that you?
Purdue.
Well, we're not paying anybody, I'm fine.
So Calorita is a company, if we can just enter into another MOU with them, contract, is that okay, Greg? Okay,
We'll review it, but yes.
so they would have the employee portion of it for 6,000, and the first and second quarter food ingredients is another 6,000. So they would have 12,000, Purdue would have 5,000, and we would be good.
that meets your grant.
That meets the grant, yes.
There's nothing for us to sign here. We will just be giving our approval for Ken Lerner to sign on behalf
Oh,
of
I
the
got,
county.
Oh, she's got it.
I got something. This is what you
It's
said.
just for him though.
It's just us and Purdue, but I didn't, do they need to sign our MOU or?
They need to approve it, I think that's all, we're gonna change some stuff for July 1 at least.
Right, so for now, this is great.
Yeah.
I'll move that we approve the, State Office of Rural Health Help to Grant document here that's an MOU between the Health Department and Purdue Extension.
Okay.
So, any other discussion?
No.
Anything else?
Questions for Chelsea, because I just basically told them that we're gonna enter into this MOU with Purdue for 5,000.
Okay.
And then Calorita is gonna get the
Yes.
personnel and the food items, which is 12,000.
And she was fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll get that wrote up just similar to that they're gonna provide the food and the personnel. And then,
So you will have an additional document similar to this that we'll have to review, and it'll be, I think my motion will be that I'll amend it, that it approves not only this MOU, but the other MOU once it passes muster with Mr. Schneider. That's
Fine
it,
with that.
that's all.
then I don't need to come back, right?
Then you don't have to come back for that, right? So what I'm trying to do is we're gonna approve both of them as long as Mr. Schneider looks at it and it matches what you're telling us here today.
I'm basically just gonna use the same format, put Calorita in there, but that they're gonna supply the personnel for 6,000 and the food items for 6,000, and then call it good.
And that the other one will be between,
DuBois County Health Department and Calorita, right?
Calorie food and prep.
can you say that?
Spell it.
Calorita.
CALORITA. Food and
Like margarita.
It is like margarita.
Food and crab.
I didn't know if
There's
it was a
the
D or a T.
5,000 simplified.
Yes. Yes, 6 for personnel and 6 for food.
Okay, so we have a
So we
first
don't
and
need to
second.
sign.
No,
All in favor of allowing the health department to sign these agreements, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thanks for running in.
Sorry, I couldn't be here this one.
all right, good to
So
go?
you're gonna do 6,000 for food and 6,000 for personnel?
Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay,
How much is yours?
5,000. And we had already purchased the refrigerator for the 1,200, that's the 18,200.
And your grant amount was it the 18.2?
That was Purdue Extension's portion, the full amount is 75.
But you're doing other projects.
We're doing, the 911 space whenever we get it. We're purchasing, the exercise equipment, the kitchenette, cabinets, countertop, all those types of things. The supplies for this program out of that, the rest of the grant.
Who's this project, the FAM, who's that gonna serve?
We are actually with this money able to do 3 separate ones. We will be doing
Permission
a
to sign with your.
program with the Head Start families over at TriCap.
The what?
Head Start.
Oh, Head Start, yes.
families, Yep. There's a program running with Spanish families that are also in SNAP eligible range. And then a third program will be just for the general public, people that are wanting to learn about improving their eating habits.
Thank you. Thank you.
So get that to you today.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, got all kind of time in the world,
I
right?
do, love it.
Let's get it. So we've got when we were at the road school thing, the state has a new project. Did you hear about this one? Okay, they've got a new thing they're doing, trying to make safety for the roads. It's called Buckle Up, Phone Down. Basically trying to get people to quit looking at your phone when you're driving and put your seatbelt on. Because we had 980, I think it was 980 deaths in 2022 on state roads, and in 2023 it was 923, something along those lines. So it's so that's just a lot of deaths. I mean, that's more than I would have expected in the state of Indiana. I got a number of these stickers if either we wanted one, and I didn't know if we wanted to have highway put them on the back of their vehicles, or if we didn't want to mess with them. I'm gonna put one on my truck, just to support the project, but anybody have any thoughts? Do you want to put them on the vehicles or not really?
We can, I don't care, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts anything. So like your vehicle, Steve's vehicle, wherever it's appropriate.
Okay.
So, just, yeah, it's something that I need to improve upon, I know that.
On the same boat.
So,
Well, we prefer that they all come to the commissioners.
Something to do with it.
We prefer all contracts.
they're even giving up those things so you can mount your phone if you're using a
Nice.
map for the
Nice.
navigation, because that's definitely something I
That's a
do.
big thing.
And if it's, and I've already put one in my vehicle, where if it's up here, it's a lot safer than if it's down here.
I don't know how many people you pass on the road that are looking down, looking off to the side. See a lot.
And they even told stories about, because they can check on your phone, hey, looks like you had your wreck at 9:30, at 9:29, you're on the phone with whoever. Or you send a text at 9:30, convenient or coincidental. So Brent, I'll have those up here if you want to do that. Anybody have any other business on the board?
I have an update from the regional sewer district. We met last Thursday, with the city of Jasper, and, they had their engineer, Derek Wiggins, from Midwest. And he kind of outlined what the plan is for the city. They are still pursuing the Northside Treatment Facility. For them, I mean, it makes financial sense because the cost of the treatment facility is very similar to what a super pumping station would be, that would deliver the effluent down to our current treatment facility, but it doesn't actually create any additional sort of capacity. So that's why they're pursuing this other plant. So they've got 3 options, which would be a Northside plant with discharge into Mill Creek, a Northside plant with discharge into the White River, or using the existing plant. We'll also talk about.
How does the water get, how does it get to White?
4 miles of pipe.
A pump it up? Okay.
Pump it back, yep. So not ideal, but might be the best situation, we'll see. Let's see, when our PER finishes, we will have 30% of our design finished. See, back to Derek Wigan, he outlined kind of the financial burdens for IDEM, and if they can get this through IDEM, then, you know, to get this discharge permit, the Northside treatment plant would be what would happen. So, and the last thing we discussed was right away for Mid-States Corridor. We were informed that if we build in the 231 right away and Mid-State Corridor runs through 231 right away, we could be forced to remove our project from their right away at our own expense. So we are trying to attack that in kind of a different way, like try to get some easements or whatnot so that we are outside of that right away until we know a little bit more what Mid-State's plans are. But
You almost feel like you can't do anything
That's
about it
still
because that's still a decade away, maybe.
Right. But yeah, that definitely throws a little wrench in there. So, but we continue to move forward. And as far as the ARPA funds are concerned, I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we believe that if we get our board completed, we can transfer the ARPA funds to the regional sewer district because you are allowed to donate those funds to a nonprofit, and then the sewer district would have those funds at their disposal.
And who mentioned that?
That was something that Keith mentioned. Keith did.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for that update.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone else in the auditor? Attorney? Anything from the public? Highway? Okay. We close the meeting.